This podcast is not sponsored or supported by any business or organization. The views reflected on these podcast episodes are my own. Please be aware I am not a medical expert, travel agent, or any other kind of expert. Hey everyone, welcome to the Eat, Explore, Love podcast. I'm Ashley. This podcast is based off of my blog of the same name, Eat, Explore, Love. It talks about the unique challenges in traveling around the world when you have celiac disease. Due to sort of popular demand, I decided to also record a podcast to delve a little deeper into my travels and the lessons learned along the way. In August, a new home exchange program will be launching called NOMAD. The founder of this new affordable way of traveling is Marie DeCosse. An incredible female entrepreneur, Marie has a thoughtful, well laid out plan to have a home exchange program while also building a community of digital nomads. Find out about her and NOMAD in this podcast episode of Eat, Explore, Love. Hi, Marie. Welcome to the Eat, Explore, Love podcast. I'm so excited to have you today and to talk with you about Nomad. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me, Ashley. I'm excited to be here.
So I know that I give I gave an introduction at the beginning of the episode to everybody, but I would love to hear in your own words, who is Marie? Who are you? What's your background? And tell the listeners why you are special and important.
Sure. So I am a Senegalese American woman. I had somewhat of an unconventional childhood. I grew up overseas in Madagascar and Bangladesh for about 7 years altogether. That really is what instilled this sort of insatiable wanderlust that I have. When I moved back to the US, it was really difficult to find my place, to find my people, and really figure out who I was. But I knew that I wanted to pursue a career that involved travel or anything related to anything really international. And so I went to school, I studied accounting, I earned my CPA, and I moved into international tax consulting with a public accounting firm because the name included international. I figured, hey, I must be able to travel at some point. Little did I know, travel was only available to partners and directors. I wasn't going to be able to get there for at least 25 years. So I quickly found myself stuck. COVID hit, and the one good thing that came out of COVID was remote work. I was able to work remotely, serve my clients, but be able to travel, have a more flexible lifestyle. So when the world started going back to normal, I actually quit my job and moved to a different firm so I could continue to operate on a fully remote basis. But there was something that was still missing. I felt like I wasn't really serving my purpose in life. There had to be something else that I could do with my skill sets that involved travel that made me feel more fulfilled. So I do what I always do when I'm going to make a major decision in my life. I booked a trip with some girlfriends. I went to Saboga, Panama, which is this little island off the coast of Panama. And as I sat with my friends thinking about friendship, travel, community, love, we just thought there has to be a way for us to do this more often. But the barrier for all of us is cost. So I went back to the drawing board. I started researching the home exchange market, and that's how the idea for Nomad Travel Groups was born. Now, I'm a complex individual who has gone through a lot in my life, a lot of ups and downs, but at the root of it all is this love for travel, and I'm trying to inspire other people to do that more through my company.
So you answered so many questions I normally ask right in that intro, and I love that. And I love that you got to have a really vibrant beginning to your life of living in Madagascar. And what was the other place that you mentioned? I'm so sorry.
Bangladesh.
Okay, where is that?
So Bangladesh is just north of India. It's sort of in between India and Pakistan.
That is really amazing and cool. I am very jealous. I was just on Long Island for 28 years. So I'm jealous that you got to have that amazing experience. So you say that that inspired you to have this wanderlust. Can you tell me a little bit more about that particular piece of it? What part of the wandering were you hoping to be able to have? Were you hoping to just learn more about culture, history, what have you?
Yeah, I think the most beautiful thing about travel is your ability to learn about other cultures and communities and really understand people more. When I was younger, we weren't traveling to Paris or London or Tokyo or these, fancy places. It was more off the cuff destinations. We went to India, Indonesia, Malaysia, just places that a lot of people tend to not want to go because it's maybe not as attractive, or you're scared because you don't know what that culture or that country entails. There's a huge language barrier. It's scary to get out of your comfort zone. So this wanderlust came from being thrown into an uncomfortable environment, having to quickly find my resources, learning that because most of these places are communalistic cultures, people were always ready to help. People were so loving, so friendly. And there was such an emphasis on being there for one another and helping other people understand them and vice versa.
So when you're talking about building, it seems like the emphasis on is the community for you based on your story about starting Nomad and what you just said there. What about Can you tell me a little bit about what your goal is with Nomad and building that community?
Sure. Let me start again. Nomad is a home exchange platform that introduces a unique community centric approach to home exchange. So there's other home exchange platforms on the market. The way that they operate is you sign up, you list your home, and then anybody on the platform is able to request a stay at your home. We reviewed people's feedback on how that mechanism operates, and they don't really feel that safe. It's not that secure because you don't know who's staying in your home. Same deal with Airbnb or VRBO. It's somebody that you may never have any communication with in the future. When you're talking about home exchange, because your home is so personal and you want to keep it safe, it's really important that it operates on a community oriented basis. What that means is we put people into groups. We match them into groups based off of the listings that they prefer. We give them a shared calendar. We give them a group messaging feature. We run background checks so that they can build trust and relationships with the people that are swapping into their homes. And we're operating on the principle that when you step into somebody's home, you get to know them a little better. And we think that that will make Nomad really successful.
And what has been the biggest are people finding that to be incredibly helpful so far, or how has it just kept continuing to grow and grow and grow? This sounds like an amazing idea and a great way of I solo travel a lot. So I feel like it's even
Mm.
a good way to figure out people with similar interests to you and even building a community outside of Nomad as well, beyond the home exchange. Is that also the goal?
Absolutely. Beyond the home exchange, particularly on our social media platforms, we're already seeing people respond to how this mechanism is going to unfold and building relationships with each other because they look up their profiles. They see that they love to travel. Okay, I'm going to give you a follow. Oh, I love your travel tips to go to go to X or Y country. So, yes, we want people to build relationships outside of Nomad. And within the platform, we want them to feel comfortable building relationships securely.
And what does, if you don't mind me asking, what does it mean to do a background check on your members?
Sure. So we partner with Stripe Identity. What they do is they ask our customers through their profile completion process to upload a photo of their government ID. And then they take an auto capture of your face to match it to the ID to make sure that the person who's listing their home and completing their profile is actually who they say they are.
So it's a very thorough background check, no messing around,
Yes.
no, yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like when I think of home exchange, I think of, well, it's not really a home exchange, house sitters. That's the only thing I've done that's similar to that. But I think of the movie The Holiday. So if
Yeah.
that's where I'm making the assumption based off of what this is. I guess this goes along with my question of what are the misconceptions of Nomad. Uh,
Hmm.
what about everybody compares to Hollywood? So what's the Hollywood or Instagram versus reality memes that are out there? What is that for the holiday versus Nomad?
It's interesting that you mentioned the holiday because one of our competitors, Kindred, has really boosted the holiday to get people to understand their
Okay.
platform. And it works for them because they only offer the option of a direct exchange. So
Okay.
there's two people involved, and you can only swap homes with that person.
Okay.
They also operate on a members only basis and they charge and under certain subscriptions charge annual membership fees. That's what other home exchange platforms out there do as well, not just Kindred. We're a differentiator in that we don't just restrict you to a two-way swap.
Okay.
You're allowed to exchange with all members of your travel group. For our MVP, which is launching this summer, we're including our first plan under the Nomad Light program, which is a 3-person travel group for a 6-month duration.
Mm,
As we grow and expand, we will offer the option of a 2-person travel group as well as a 4-person travel
okay.
group in addition to the 3. So we're not restricting you. It's not just a two-way situation. We're allowing you to build a community within your travel group of 3 and in the future with additional travel group options.
That's sounds awesome. So it's and are there different are you kind of stuck with your group of 4 that you could exchange with, or can it happen? Like what's the 6 months of it all? Is it that within that you get 4 people in your group for 6 months and then it changes up every 6 months? How does that all work?
Yep. So you, within the first 6 months of your travel group, it's just those 3 people who have selected each other's properties.
Okay.
Once that 6-month duration ends, you're given the option to rejoin your travel group if you had a great time and you want to just keep it going, or you're given the option to be resorted into a new travel group.
Okay.
When you click that option, we ask you to select any additional listings that you prefer to really refine that matchmaking mechanism.
And how do you match all these people together?
So it's based off of the listings that you prefer. After you complete your profile and home registration process, you go onto our homepage and you see all of the eligible Nomad listings. You can sort by location, you can sort by restrictions. Do they allow guests? Do they allow pets? Or can I bring my kids? And then you select the ones that you prefer. Once we receive that information, we sort you into a travel group that matches your listing criteria. Our goal is to meet at least one of your preferences. If we don't meet one of your preferences, we at least meet the location that your preferences were in.
That's incredible. So where do you see I know you talked about like subscription plans and how that intends to grow. Do you see Nomad growing in other ways as well, or is it mainly focused on how to build the community and travel groups?
Well, when you think about just the digital nomad community, it's huge. There are so many products and services that cater to remote workers. So, not only are we looking to expand our offerings through what we call our 3-stage growth plan, starting with Nomad Light, which is rolling out via our MVP this summer, we want to partner with companies that we admire that appeal to our customers, that give them more options to work remotely effectively. And so while we're going to grow our service offerings, we also want to grow our presence via partnerships as well.
Can you give me an example of a partnership? So, I'll let you answer that question first before I answer ask my next one.
Sure. So there is a company that caters to digital nomads by offering them technology that allows them to work seamlessly on the go.
Okay.
They include Nomad in their name. I'm not going to mention them specifically because I don't want to get in trouble if they don't want me to promote them. But we're definitely looking to partner with them in the future, giving our customers the option maybe for discounts or really just highlighting these features that'll make it a lot easier for people to work on the
That I'm glad I didn't ask my second question because that pretty much
go.
'cause do you have any, on your website, are you able to give folks tips on how to best travel in that nomad lifestyle, either safety tips or how to function with, like, cell phone plans and things like that, or is that gonna come out of your partnerships as well?
We would prefer that that comes out of our partnerships because there's companies that have made it their mission to provide that information. We want to make sure that our customers are getting the best possible information that they can get. What we do is provide all of our customers with an extensive guide on how to exchange homes via your travel group securely? What are the protocols? What do I do before I leave my home? Do I buy new bedding? Do I, get new towels and toiletry? How do I prep my home for a home swap with Nomad travel groups? That's provided. And then also, we want to make sure that our customers are well informed when it comes to any emergency that they may face in the while they're engaging in a home swap. Everyone is provided with an emergency on the ground contact in addition to a maintenance contact if any issues should arise, and then our customer service is available 24/7 as well to answer any questions that they may have.
My other big thing that I would have to deal with in whatever travel group, if I were to be part of that community, would be I have celiac. That's the whole point of this podcast, the blog
Mm,
that I write, and everything else like that is traveling through the lens of having celiac disease. And I went through Airbnbs for a very specific reason of wanting to have kitchens and stuff, but it also gets tricky of cross contamination and things like that. So, if you're in a home
mhm.
exchange program in your travel group, is there any recommendations you give for people of, okay, this one person in your group has a really severe food allergy. Here's some things that you could do to make them feel safe eating in your home. Or if you're eating in someone that has celiac, these are some things you need to do. So that way you're not cross contaminating their home and making their home unsafe. I don't know if you guys have gotten there yet and had that issue, but did I read correctly that you also have food intolerances?
I do have food intolerances, and I empathize with you because I have dealt with it a lot while traveling. And I think that's a great question. The nice thing about our profile registration process is that you have the ability to introduce yourself to your travel group members and explicitly mention what your restrictions are. So if you would like for your travel group member to be an individual who maybe has similar food intolerances, you can put that down and we will do our best to match you into a group with people where you maybe feel a little bit more comfortable using their utensils, etc. But also via our group messaging system, you're able to message your travel group members and say, hey, this is happening. Do you mind maybe purchasing some new Tupperware, or I can bring that along? Or is there anything that I can use that maybe is not as cross contaminated? Or really just figure it out with your travel group
Yeah.
members. There is a reason that you were paired together. They want to help you, they want to make sure that you're comfortable in their home. So I'm really glad that you brought that up because it is a feature that is, again, unique to Nomad. You're able to communicate exactly what your restrictions are, and we will make sure that we consider that through the matchmaking process.
And do you find that people are receptive and tolerant of that? Because I've run into many a times where people are not understanding or not sympathetic. They think it's fake and not real, and it's a made up. thing. So,
Yeah.
are you able to flag that in your database of people that are going to potentially be a little bit more difficult with that than others? Or is the technology
If
not there yet?
So we haven't rolled out the site yet.
Okay.
So the travel group mechanism hasn't gone live. It'll go live this summer. I'm sure we are going to encounter issues with people who are just not as caring and respectful as they should be. So we have a complaint portal, and we also offer the ability to leave reviews following a stay. If you had an inappropriate if there was something inappropriate that the host did, we want to know about it because we want to flag that account. We do not want another customer to experience a similar issue. And we also encourage our travel group members and our customers to leave reviews, because if you're someone with celiac disease and there's somebody else who's considering staying in that home, and that you realize that the host was super unhelpful and maybe did something that severely impacted you, leave a review and tell people about it, because
Yeah.
it's probably unlikely that that person is going to be selected by another individual with similar issues in the future. So this review mechanism really ensures transparency. And if you're not going to be a good person and you're not going to be helpful to your travel group members, it's unlikely you're going to be placed into a travel group that you desire.
What is the thing that you are most excited about with this rollout? Because it's happening this summer. Do you guys have a date specifically of when it's going live yet, or is that still under wraps for now?
So the target date is
Okay.
August. I am really most excited about seeing the response from our potential customers. Already, we have people commenting on our social media platforms that they can't wait for it to go live. It's one of the very few not members only platforms. So, people that were excluded from the members only finally have a chance to engage in equitable travel. And I'm really excited to see how it helps people connect with one another, understand each other, and not have the barriers of cost, particularly the cost of accommodation, preventing them from traveling frequently.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I was just speaking with my bank that will remain unnamed because I didn't have a positive experience, but
Oh no.
I did have to mention to them I had an issue with my credit card while I was living abroad, and unfortunately, I had to explain to my bank that they need to be more accommodating and figuring out how to collaborate with people that may not have a home address to ship things to, and that things have got to be worked out. So, I guess,
Mhm.
is that something that you're part of your mission and Nomad is educating these companies on how to help and work with people that are living this nomad lifestyle? Or is it just hoping that eventually these companies just catch on and figure it out? How do you envision that as part of the long term plan?
So I believe that we will influence companies like that through the movement that we are creating. There's already so many more people working remotely than we really ever saw before. And we're seeing this transition from institutions that are sort of old and outdated to catch up to where this generation is going. I believe that we will influence through our the effect of our customers. I wouldn't say that we would maybe directly sort of campaign, but we do hope that we're spreading awareness, making it easier for people to live an a location independent lifestyle, and hopefully through that change, companies that should have caught on a long time ago finally catch up.
Yeah, it's frustrating to say the least.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like we covered a lot, and I feel I would love to have a follow-up conversation once Nomad is launched and seeing the after effects and even getting more advice and seeing the learnings and what more everybody can do. And I definitely can't wait for it to launch because I feel like it would be, I don't have a house yet or a home, but once I do, I would love to be able to be part of that home exchange because it feels ideal, like a really great situation and positive and hopefully safer. To me, that's how I'm
Yes.
taking away from it, is a safer option. So thank you for
Yes.
seeing a hole in the market and being willing to address it and make it a more positive community feeling experience. Um,
Absolutely. And when we go live, we would love, love, love to have you. And I'd love to talk about how we are already impacting people. Maybe even at the end of August, but
yeah.
likely September.
Yeah, that'll be so exciting. And I'm so excited for you and your team and this new venture. And, it just shows that women should be ruling the world because from a girls' trip, look at what it fostered, look at what it brought.
Yep. Yeah. Honestly, if women ruled the world, things would just be so much
Yes.
better.
More efficient, for sure, at the very least. And so,
Yeah.
what has that been the most rewarding thing is about this whole process so far?
Um, really, well, seeing sort of my self growth and empowerment, I would definitely say so. I'm a very spiritual person, with my mother being Senegalese. And I try to listen to my gut as much as possible and sort of try to follow guidance from my ancestors. And I felt like the career that I was in, I kept having this gut feeling every day of like, I am not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Maybe it's part of a plan. Hopefully, it's part of a plan, but I don't feel good. I feel like I need a change and I need to impact people and help people. And I really feel like I am taking the steps to achieve my life purpose through creating Nomad and empowering other people to travel more frequently, to understand each other, to build a larger community. So I every day I'm just in awe of how Nomad has taken off and the team that we have created and how people are responding to it. And it really makes you believe in the power of women, the power of community, and the power of belief, self belief.
That I think is the best way to end this episode. But before I let you go, I do rapid fire questions at the end of every episode. Is it okay if I ask you some rapid fire
Yeah,
questions? Awesome.
I love that.
In the Eat, Explore, Love vein, what is your favorite food city that you've visited?
Ooh, I have to say Senegal.
Ooh, okay.
Dakar, Senegal. Yep. I love, love, love the food from Senegal. Highly recommend. I know it's not as attractive or maybe not as well known, but West African food is money.
It's become, when I was living in Europe, Africa became more prominent on the bucket list because it just seemed everybody that went
Hmm.
there loved it. So I
Yeah.
definitely need to go. When you plan a vacation, do you prefer one where you're active or that you're relaxing?
I prefer an active vacation, something that gets me out of my comfort zone.
I'm the same as you. Uh, and
Yeah.
that's not a common answer. Uh, and where is the city that you learned the most about yourself?
That's a great question. I would say I would say Dhaka, Bangladesh.
Answer and a different answer. So, for everybody that is wanting to check out Nomad and or learn more about you, where can people find you?
So we are on Instagram and TikTok at We Travel Nomad. Our pre-registration is live and our waitlist is growing. Please, please sign up at wetravelnomad.com. We're on LinkedIn at Nomad Travel Groups. And if you'd like to give me a follow, I'd love to hear your feedback on Nomad or any questions that you may have at Mardee3. That's MARDEE3.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Marie. It was so nice to meet you, and I can't wait to be able to A, get my own apartment and then be
Yes.
part of this home exchange program. No, I'm so excited for Nomad. I see nothing but great things for it, and I can't wait to spread the word and let other people know and to keep a lookout for it to launch in August. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I am so excited to be able to try out NOMAD. Thank you, Marie, for joining me. It was a fantastic episode and fantastic learnings. Till next time. Thank you for joining me this week for all the fun journeys and lessons learned on my big adventure called life. For more information on the different cities discussed, check out the blog posts on hieatexplorelove.com, posted every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you have any questions or fun stories to share, feel free to reach out at hieatexplorelove@gmail.com. Until next week, remember to eat well, explore the world, and love yourself. See you next time. This episode is produced, scripted, and edited by me, Ashley. Special thanks to Sarah Mientka.